Is your dog struggling to sit and hold that position? Well, I'm about to show you how to teach your dog to hold a reliable sit, and this will lead into teaching the dog to hold other positions reliably. So stay tuned and watch this video in our bootcamp session with how we teach our dogs to hold our sits or any other positions reliably. Okay, so we've taught the sit, the basics of the sit, a very easy position for you guys to teach your dogs, and that's why we always teach it in the first place. It leads into more important things in the future. So we want our dogs to be calm, just like these guys are here, and like some of your dogs are doing at the moment. All right, what are they doing? Becoming socially neutral in a social environment. How are they doing this? Obviously through obedience training and good behavior shaping as well. So a lot of dogs that we see that are very anxious, generally they can't hold a simple sit position. We see it all the time. Dogs that have these separation anxieties with their owners walking away from them, or if they leave the house and things like that. Most of the time, those dogs are just lacking in obedience training and they can't hold a simple sit. That means they can't hold it down and they can't recall and they can't do all this other stuff. So what we're going to do today is teach you how to teach your dog to hold a position whilst you walk away from them. So I'm just going to give you that demonstration of that with Dude here. And I'll get his toy. Good boy, sit. Good boy. All right, so holding a position, that's what we're after. All right, I want your dog to learn how to do this. All right, just remember, a sit is a sit. A sit is not a lay down. A sit is not a get up and walk off when they want to. All right, that's why we are teaching our dog the release command. He's not allowed to move from that position until I recommand him into another position or I release him from that position. What we're working on here is duration with our dog in this position. So the time, minimum standard time that I want your dog to be able to hold this position for is 5 minutes. I want you to put your dog in a sit, and this can be your homework, or it is your homework, to put your dog in a sit like so, good boy, and walk away. I don't expect you to get this day one. It's going to take a little bit of time. You may or may not get it by the time I see you next time, but if you do, bonus, right, then your dog's definitely ready for future sessions. Then we're going to work on that distance away from our dogs, just walking out of sight, going out to your car, going wherever, all right? We want the dog to hold this position no matter what. So I take him to a cafe every now and again. He knows if I put him in a down, then I can just walk inside, go order the coffee, come back, and I know and I have faith that he's going to hold that position. The other one is distractions. One of his favorite toys here, or even just getting him to come towards me. So, hey buddy, hey, come here. Oh, hey, come here, bud. Come on, mate. Come on. Wait, up, come here, come on. As you can see, he's looking away from me, holding that position because I haven't released him. I haven't recommanded him into another position either. Again, his favorite toy here, as much as he wants to go get that, he knows he's not allowed to. How have I taught him this? Through our reset learning that we brought up in the last slide of our presentation. Free. Yes. Setting our dog up in that situation, just deliberately setting him up to fail. Some trainers don't like to do that, but we do it every single day. How is my dog going to learn with what I want them to do in a specific situation? So as you saw then, I put him in a sit. I deliberately tried to get him to come towards me. He broke many times at the start. All I did is what I'm going to show you soon. Correct, redirect him and show him what I want from him. And then what I do is I repeat that picture again. Like I said in the first session, how many times does it take to train or teach a dog something? 1,000 repetitions plus. He does this all the time, every bloody boot camp pretty much. What is he, 4? So he's been around a while. I'm lucky enough to be able to put him in these situations a lot. It can be a little bit harder for other people with their dogs. But again, the big one here is our dog being neutral in that situation, adding that duration, adding that distance, distraction over time. Don't rush this. You're not going to get that straight away. Hopefully your dogs do pretty well with it. But that's a bit of a picture that I want you guys to understand what your dogs will be able to achieve. They will be able to do this if you follow through with what I'm about to show you now. Pretty straightforward process. Again, all we're doing is showing the dog in micro pictures what we want from them to show them that big picture at the end. The light at the end of the tunnel is very small right now, and some people can't see it. So it will get bigger and bigger and bigger the more that you do this. Cool? So I command with me, I'm going to step up and I'm going to put my dog into the sit position. So, like so, with me, good boy, sit. Dog's in the sit, good boy. This is where we're at. All right, this is where we're at so far. Session 2 starts now. Our step away is, like I just showed you, stepping away from the dog. Again, a very simple exercise as long as you follow these steps. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to warn the dog as I step in front. Okay, I'm going to warn the dog as I step in front. It's telling the dog, you stay as I go. Like so. Good boy. I'm directly in front. I can still keep warning the dog here. Good boy. Now I'm going to step back to the dog. Good boy. I swap hands. I praise the dog calmly. Good boy. And then free. Good boy. Good boy. Now what do? That's 1. With me. Good boy. Sit. Good boy. From here. Good boy. Stepping in front. Let's just say I've done this a lot of times. My dog's doing pretty well. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to warn, step backwards again. Good boy. Nice and loose on the lead, adding no pressure on the lead at all. If you add pressure, especially with your dog learning this at the start, you're telling them to come towards you. Because again, that's that communication with the lead. So, I can do it to him, right? Because, again, I've put him in that situation many times. As you can see, he's like, nah, I'm not getting out of that position. Sorry, buddy. But I'm at the end of the lead. I'm going to make my way back in. Good boy, all the way back in. Just with this, a lot of dogs I find generally will break that position as you're coming back in towards them. So make sure that you are warning the dog consistently the whole way back. So again, put my dog in a sit. Good boy. Warning, stepping in front. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. The end of my lead, warning, coming back in. Good boy. Good boy. Stepping back, swapping hands, praising. Good boy. Free. Good boy. And rewarding. Make sense? So I'll show you how we start walking around the dog. Good boy. Sit. Good boy. Again, warning. Good boy. Good boy. All the way out. Again, make sure you have a bow in the lead. What we do from here is now I want to teach the dog. Now I'm going to start going left or right. Again, little micro pitches. I want to show the dog that I'm going to go 45 degrees of you. And all I'm doing is I'm warning before I start moving. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Like so. Over and over and over. Then I always realign myself, facing face to face to the dog, all the way back in, releasing. Dog's doing well with that. I come out, warn, good boy, good boy, good boy. 90 degrees either side. I come back in, I release. Once my dog's doing good with that, now I'm going to warn and try and go the whole way around. Just watch my tones sort of change here, okay? So this is when a lot of dogs will break. Good boy, good boy, good boy, good boy, good boy. Right, as I'm coming around, I can flick the lead over and keep walking around. Good boy, good boy. So all you saw there was an increase of my tones as I started walking around the dog. Because a lot of dogs tend to, especially when you start to go behind them, they start to want to move around and see where you're going. Especially if you have dogs that are very anxious and can't be away from their owners. Free, good boy. So it's very important that you do warn the dogs there. Increase the warnings there. As you can see with these guys, we're not warning over and over and over and over. That'll be very annoying as I'm teaching you. So as the dog gets better at this, warn the dog less and less over time. Then eventually it's just sit, good boy, and then we walk off. Like this. With me, good boy. With me, good boy, sit, good boy. All I've done is just praise him and then I can walk off. As you can see, I'm not warning him at all. So again, early stages, yes, we're reinforcing over and over and over with those warning tones. Don't move, don't move. Obviously with the words good boy or good girl. And showing him that consistent picture, just don't move from that position. I will come back in and release you. Good boy, free, then you get rewarded. Pretty straightforward. Okay, what do we do if the dog breaks position? We need to show the dog When you break position, depending on where you are next to them, depends on the correction that they are given. So, what do we do if the dog breaks position next to us? Anyone except you or you. All right, what do we do if the dog just stood up out of the sit right now? Correct. So the second command. So my dog was in the sit. I want to conduct my step away, but my dog has stood up. All I'm going to do is recommand sit and add that pressure. Like so, sit. Dog's back in the position. Good boy. And praising the dog. Dog goes to lay down. Sit. Dog's back in the position. Pressure off. Good boy. Again, not ripping head off. Guiding the dog back into that position. Teaching him that pressure stays on till you are in the correct position. Make sense? Okay, now, a little bit different now when we step out in front. All right, sorry, I've got my back to a few of you when I do this. All right, but again, I'm warning, good boy. Once I've put both feet on the ground facing the dog, and now if my dog breaks position, now I'm going to know and circle the dog. All right, so anywhere from here, out and around. Dog breaks, I give him a no, and I correct. Make sense? So let's just say I'm walking out, good boy, good boy, good boy. I'm deliberately going to make him break position here. No, I mark it. All right, so no, as soon as he's done it. Remember, how long do we have to mark a positive or a negative marker? Anyone? No. 1.6 seconds. Close. To mark a positive or a negative. So remember when you're like, with me, good boy. With me, good boy. Or sit, good boy. You've got that 1.6 seconds to show the dog that was the right thing to do. When the dog does the wrong thing, same thing. No, you need to mark it then and there. Then you can follow through with the correction. Okay? So let's just say he's broke that position. I've marked NO. We start our circle process now. Depending on the equipment that you have, underhand grip of, I'm just going to use his collar at the moment, underhand grip of the collar. March the dog around, and then I recommand sit, pressure up, and I hold until the dog's in position. Once he's there, pressure comes off slowly. Good boy. Showing him that's what I want you to do. That's the behaviour that I want. What do? I warn, good boy, and I step out in front. Again, warning as I go away. As the dog gets better, I can say it less and less. Good boy. Good boy. And so forth. What do you think we can do if the dog looks like he's about to move? Warn? Exactly. So if he goes to possibly go forward and lay down there, you can just, good boy. Ooh, generally they go back up into that position. If the dog just I'm doing that, all right, then no, circle, back in the position. So again, we're just showing the dog a very consistent picture. Very consistent picture of what we want from them and what we don't want from them. Good boy. Free. Good boy. Right, just watch that lead.
Good boy.
Sit, watch that lead, standing up tall. Walk around the whole way. Right, keep talking. Good boy. I know he's generally pretty good at this anyway, isn't he? Now, face the dog, come all the way back in. Good boy. Shorten the lead the whole way, all the way. Swap hands, praise. Good dog, and free. Awesome. See how we go now. 2, yep, 2, 3. With your left hand, just the lead a little bit. Right, so recommand sit. Hold the pressure on, not too much, just hold it on. Yep. If you need to, can I grab that? Yep. If your dog goes to lay down or even ends up in a funny position like this, what I like to do is, as I've got that pressure on, I just underhand grip of the collar, just a little bit of a raise, and then guide the dog into that perfect sit like so. And then making sure the lead's loose, a little bit of praise. All right, come back to here. Now, warn, nice and loose on the lead.
Good girl.
Yep. Step out, good girl. Yep,
Good girl.
Don't bend over. Keep going, good girl. No. Correcting the dog. All right, with your no and circle, a little bit of pressure up with the halter. Nice and easy. Again, she's just getting used to it. Recommand sit. Pressure up. Hold, yep, just say it once. Now, again, repeat, reset learning, showing that dog that picture. No pressure on the lead.
Good girl.
Right, stepping out.
Good girl.
Keep going.
Good girl.
No. Correct? So we don't say anything until you release the pressure at the end. All right, keep going, keep going, keep going. Pressure up, sit.
Sit.
Hold it on, pressure off. Good girl.
Good girl.
Now again, warn. Keep going, just to there, just to there. All right, now warn, go back. Shorten your lead as you come back in. Swap hands, praise once you're there. And now release. Free. Good girl. Good work. Perfect. So main points to remember with your sit, step away. What's one point that I picked you up for? There wasn't that many.
Holding the lead was a bit looser.
Yes, so one that, a lot of people do this, again, still holding that lead too short and holding pressure on it, especially while they're already sitting. All right, when your dog's sitting, that pressure needs to come off straight away because I see people are still very short on that lead, and as they go to step out, possibly you're going to accidentally tap that dog forward and they're going to follow you, and that's not what we're trying to show them. That's not the one I was after. What's another one I got you for? And I'm not trying to pick on you. That was more for her. All right, so again, commanding the dog nice and clear. That effective communication to the dog. Again, a command is a command, direct and clear. Not sit, good boy. And it needs to be nice and clear. The big one that I was after there is, I don't know if anyone else was doing this, but when you're stepping away from the dog, that bending down. What do you think that bending down is doing? It's that invitation for the dog to come to you. That's not what we want. I want everything done standing up tall. Good girl, good girl, good girl, good girl. Coming all the way back in, standing tall. We don't even really have to do it here unless you've got a shorter dog, right? Then it becomes a little bit harder, or tiny. So again, if you can, good dog, like so. But yes, sometimes you're going to have to do good dog. Standing back up tall. Then I want the dog not to think that he's about to get released here. I want the dog always guessing with when you're going to release the dog. Because you might come back in, good dog, good dog. Warn, go back out. All right, and then we come back in, good dog. I always change the time up here when you're going to release. Could be 1 second, could be 5 seconds, 10 seconds. Or you might walk away, you come back, you know what I mean? All right, so I want the dog to always, I don't want the dog to predict. All right, so keep that dog guessing every single time when you're going to release that dog from the position. Okay, makes sense? It's like, have you heard, some of your dogs might do it as well. Let's say you put your dog in a sit at the park and you're about to unclip them. What happens as soon as you do this? They're gone. So it's always good practice to hold that collar, unclip. They know they can't get released, or they can't go until they release with the release command. That's not a release command. Same as like when your dog crosses the road at the lights, the green man goes. A lot of dogs I see, that is a cue for them to go. The owner actually hasn't told them to go, that's their cue to go. So I've always, if that green man goes, I'll wait 2 or 3 seconds with me. You go on my command, not that bloody green man sound command. Make sense?